JB here, JB here. Hope everyone's doing outstanding. Wednesday, September 3rd, 3:30 on this fine afternoon. Always feels like Tuesday on these holiday shortened trading weeks. Um, Markets, pretty much all the S&P is chopping around the flat range, right around 640, up about tenth percent. The Dow is down, the Nasdaq is up. Obviously, the Google news after the close yesterday helping Google, Apple, and some other names. And the JOLTS report came in flat today. Tomorrow we're going to get the weekly jobless claims. We'll get ADP report, and then Friday's the doozy, right? Yeah, one of those days, like these 2 days, it's days where I probably should have sat on my hands, right? I mean, because hindsight's 2020. Um, Today's chop's not a good chop. I mean, Wednesday's typically the premium chopping day, right? That's when, especially if it's start on Monday, you get a position. Wednesday's the day where you see the erosion really kick in, and it doesn't help that we're having a chop here today. We did get up to 644 in a SPY. Again, I still remain like cautious, right? I guess that's the best way I could describe it. Uh, I'm not saying I'm not open to calls. I'm not open to longer term positions, possibly some of the smaller cap names or bio names. It just has this feeling that maybe we're gonna leak into Friday, right? I guess best way I can describe it. So take a look at the amount of stocks trading over their 50-day moving average. That's still declined, down another 6% here today. Not waving red flag, like get out red flags, like warning sign, warning. Just caution, right? Things to look at. And today the yields are lower, the dollar's weaker, so those trends totally reversed from yesterday, and the VIX is still in the red. So um, just wish there was more direction, at least support and then some melting. I mean, my watch is solidly green. You keep mentioning Roku, great. I mean, Roku is one of those names. I maybe it's one day we'll wake up. There's some buyout offer. It's a hot football season coming. You watch FUBO running this morning. I always love FUBO. Great story. Uh, as football comes, it's like I've all the services YouTube TV, all those to me it's almost like you're doing market research. Like back in the day, you do the boots on the ground to go into the clothing store to see how many Deckers boots are getting, some Uggs are being bought, so you can make a bull or bear case in regards to sales. Same, I think, goes now with digital and streaming and all that fun stuff. I mean, I back before the SPAC, I think it was FUBO became a SPAC. I knew about FUBO more because I wanted to watch. I think I told the story years ago. I wanted to watch a boxing match, right? And this boxing match, it was the Iron, not the England guy. What's his name? Dante Wilder versus the other guy, but you couldn't find it. And Joshua, I forget. So I'm not a big boxing fan, but like back in the day when I was a kid, the boxing was awesome, right? The heavyweight fight by Mike Tyson. So I wanted to watch it, and the only way you could watch it was FUBO. I'm like, what the heck is FUBO? And then you sign up. Oh, it's cool sports. And not only you get local, you get international stuff. It's good stuff. So that's kind of how FUBO came to be for me. And then it's just a name you just continue to watch. People thought, some of these other names are gonna entrench as the online streaming, like YouTube TV came out, but they're Hulu Plus, Hulu Live. But now it's they've survived, and then this partnership with Hulu Plus. I'm like, so to me, again, it's just another one of those notches on the wall kind of argument in regards to what's going on with Roku. I mean, it's just that Roku's not going away, but it gets priced. Sometimes it's like it's priced like competitive concerns and things are going to erode it. So rants for other days. But so that's kind of what I'm watching here today. SPY all the way down to 640, bounce 640.50. Still up 0.25% here today. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. 633. I just have this odd feeling. I mean, maybe I'll book. I've said this a couple times over the last couple months when I'm a little cautious. I'm like, I'll bookmark this or what have you and reference it. I still think 633 is going to come on a SPY. Maybe not, but do have some spec positions. Take advantage if it does come. So take a look at the SPY here today. Good stuff, right? I mean, if you look at the chart, the only argument or thing you could say is lower highs, lower lows. So if we can avert that by breaking highs in the next couple days or weeks, that it kind of averts that. And that's the overall market. So just quick on individual names. I was talking about this morning and yesterday afternoon, the biotech sector just trading on its own planet. I don't know if it had to do with RFK. There was that UHTR news yesterday in regards to some kind of lung study that showed positive data. Stock was up, 8 billion, 10 billion in market cap. So then, I'm watching this morning, and Biogen's one of those names. It's like only a matter of time before this breaks out. And typically, it's buy when it's cold, sell when it's piping hot, I guess you would say it. But it's one of those names. And one day it's going to be, whether it be news, an upgrade, and then it's going to be off to the races. And I mean, it's a big rally so far in the last couple sessions, but some data this morning and Biogen and some other company announced FDA rolling submissions and some other things in regards to their Alzheimer's rollout, things like that. So anyway, I don't think it needs much, especially with the backdrop of all the biotechs running. So I got some lotto calls. It was looking great, hit 145, and boom, that was it. Couldn't break through. Sellers came in. It's been chopping around. We tried to find some buyers. Came up to highs again in the about 215 up to 140, almost 143, and then back to the sell side. Still up 1% here today. Would not be surprised to meet analyst commentary tomorrow. I put it as on the private Twitter that if it gets 142 plus, I might look for some strikes into next week. And inexpensive, right? And that's a good thing. I mean, when Biogen was it used to be $300, $400, $500 stock. It was hard to find decent risk reward strikes. Now a lot more attractive, and if it does start to run, those inexpensive calls become multi-bagger. So that's the thought process there. And then the other names here, and Visa actually just bounced off its 50-day moving average, but Visa and Hood still kind of lurking. Hood's back under its 50-day moving average in the red, right at that 100 threshold. Won't take much. If we have a 0.5% down day on the SPY, you got to think V's gonna be down to 340, if not lower. If that happens, inexpensive puts will pay. Same with Hood, and you look at Hood. I mean, look at this. I mean, if it finds some support, again, it's a cold stock. I was talking about yesterday afternoon. Certainly the buyers can come in, but if they don't, it just looks like it'll just be it's slow and steady melt, and at some point there'll be some flush, right? Some stops will start getting hit, and then boom, it's $90. Whether that happens this week or not, but if it does, I'm positioned for it. So I think it's still setting up for that, pending anything crazy. Uh, and then other names. I mean, Serve. I do these charts and I put these spaghetti lines. I don't do a lot of spaghetti lines, but I'm all about charts, right? I'm not all about charts. I think 20%, 25% of trades and what have you should be chart related because it's a history lesson where buyers come in, sellers come in, where it found support, things like that. So to me, it's like not a 95% probability of something playing out just based on a chart, but it gives you better odds, right? And anytime you get your odds back in your favor, you got to use it. Fundamentals, technicals, overall market, the sector, charts, right? I mean, those are all different things that you can base a trade on. And take a look at Serve. Call me nuts, 975, boom, came down to pretty much 975 today. It's almost like gravity took it to it. It was like that's where it was going to go. Disappointing for my September strike, still the October freebies. At some point I'll probably be patient here. The Bears came in. I talked about this in their earnings. I thought their earnings were great. Bears took it all the way down to 860 on nothing in the afternoon hour session. So can't rule out that they're going to put up a decent fight. So I'm just going to wait on that. And I think there was Uber news, right? Was there Uber or Amazon news in regards to robot company, a partnership that going the wrong way? All right, so that's Serve. GME, I've been watching this one all day. Tight Bollinger Band setup, and it's one of those names similar to Roku back in the day, like almost teased me into getting the calls at the open, and all the way up to 23.60 or so, and then boom, just found pressure under 23 in the afternoon. It's just sitting here at $23. Another name I continue to have on watch. I wouldn't say back on watch. I've been watching it. I still have some September strikes that I've had for a while, but at some point it's going to break. You have to. All right, so that's GME. And then Intuitive Surgical, right? I was watching that this morning too. It was like down 4% in the morning. I'm like, what is this? Just overall market. There was no downgrade I could see. And then just accelerating. Someone posted in the chat room and then it was down 6%. I'm like, I go back and look, oh, wow. Another one of those names, right? Similar to Biogen. If you had the puts when it's quiet, no one's talking, there's no analyst, there's no analyst upgrade, there's no news. They were at I think it's a Wells Fargo conference today. It says 9:30 a.m. Eastern. So I don't know if that's when the conference started. But then there's commentary that came out starting at like 1 o'clock saying they're presenting Wells Fargo conference, comment on priorities over the next 12 months, says financial goals are intact, committed to top tier margins, greater challenges in the international markets, gross margins for F20 around 66%. So something in there spooks some folks or just they use an excuse to take some profits. But if you look at this chart, I mean, gosh, if it holds around here, setting up for a nice bounce at some point. One of my babies from back in the day. I think it was my first list of top 5 stocks for, I think it was 2013 when I did my first stock webinar. Intuitive Surgical was one of my top 5 stocks. And that was multi splits ago. So the stock was probably like $200 and it's on like a 6-for-1 split, a 7-for-1 split. So yeah, probably should have just got some later dated, 10-year out calls and I won't be here anymore, right? I'd still be here because this is always fun. Trading's fun, right? That's that. I'm trying to think of some of the things I'm looking at. Look at, I mean, Jesus, Chewy's over 40 bucks here. I was looking at Turns yesterday. It's another one of those names. Could have got the calls yesterday for continuation. That right off the open is down 3.5%. It's just been it's tough this week. So I'll continue to keep things small, spec trades, lottos. And then if I see some opportunities, I mean Reddit, right? Another one of those names. This morning, I had it kind of in the back of my head. It's always a name I'm looking for a lot. I'm like, oh, maybe this Google News pushes it. I it's around 226. I go look at the calls and the calls are up like 50%. I'm like, oh, okay, good. Good thing I didn't get the calls yesterday, right? Well, not good thing, but I could have, but who would have known that Google News coming out? And then I turn back and boom, it's up to 236. And I look at the calls are up 600-700%. I'm like, are you kidding me? Uh, Almost got some FOMO, almost did some lottos. I'm like, wow, maybe this is the all-time high move it's going to do. And maybe it still goes. I'm like 250. Maybe it's going to 250. I'm like, let me wait a minute, and boom, it starts to find a little pressure. And then you look back in a couple hours, it goes almost red to green. So I mean, green to red. Did it go green to red? Yeah, it went green to red just a little while ago. At some point, I mean, a good thing is it provides opportunities for trades, right? It's volatile. That's what you want. You don't want something flat as a pancake. But the implied move on red right now is it's $11, so over nearly 6% in 2 days left in the trading week. So that's tough to wrap your head around on a risk war basis. The thing is, it's flat and the premiums are still up on the calls. So and they're expensive still. I mean, the 240s look interesting. Maybe tomorrow. That's it, folks. Let's have a great day. I'll be back on audio later. Rock and roll.